In the circuit, we have the cell here. This is the closed plug key. Here I have the ammeter to measure the current. Now here are the two ends of the wire A and B. I am going to attach different metal wires to make the circuit close. So between this A and B, let me first keep the copper wire. Okay, now here I have used, because now the circuit is completed and I can measure the current with the help of ammeter. So I am measuring the current. Fine. Next, I am using the aluminum wire. I am measuring the current. When I am using the glass rod, I am measuring the current. When I am using the rubber, I am measuring the current. What will happen when you are using aluminum or copper? You will see that current is observed. But whereas if you use glass or rubber, the ammeter will show zero reading, means there is no current passing through it. Okay. Now, if what do you mean by conductor? The definition of conductor is those substances which have low resistance are called as the conductor, and current can easily flow through such materials. So the current is observed in ammeter when you use the aluminum wire and the copper. So that time we will see the deflection is observed in the ammeter, indicating that current. That means the resistance is less and current is able to pass through. But when you use the glass or the rubber, current will not be able to pass through. That means this substance have high resistance. Okay, the substances which have extremely high resistance through which the current cannot pass is called as insulator. So what is the difference between the conductor and the insulator? Conductor has low resistance and insulator is having high resistance. Correct? What can you say about our own body? Our body is conductor or insulator? It is conductor. Okay. So now today you are going to observe the other all the things in your house and find out what all things can be the conductor and what all things can be the insulator. Now let us go ahead with the examples. You can see these examples. These all are the insulator. You can see the plastic, the wood. Okay. After understanding this, now let us go towards the experimental proof of Ohm's law. We have already seen Ohm's law, that V directly proportional to I. Sorry, I is directly proportional to V. The current flows as per the potential difference. More potential difference, more current. So how we can do it in the lab using the simple circuit? Let us understand this. Now the things which I wanted for the experimental proof of Ohm's law is you need to have a cell, you need to have ammeter and voltmeter to measure the current and the potential difference. You need conducting wire, can be of aluminum or the copper. You should have a plug key. Okay, this is the diagram. Actually, the not diagram, the picture of plug key. This is how it looked like. Now you are going to make the arrangement. Here I am going to have the cell. It can be one cell, two cell, three cell, four cell. Depends how much. current I want. Okay, and here I have the resistance across that I'm going to measure the potential difference. So here I'm going to connect wires. Let's say I'm going to have two wires. One wire going to the resistance, another wire going to the voltmeter. Then again this wire will get connected to each other. This two ends is connected to one end and it goes to the ammeter, and this is the plug key symbol that gets connected to the negative terminal of the cell. So you have the positive terminal connected. See, always whenever you draw the circuit diagram, always observe that negative terminal should get connected to negative. See, minus sign here, that means this is a negative. Where it goes to negative. Ammeter, where is the negative symbol here? It goes the other negative terminal of the cell. So always you see that whenever you have the ammeter or voltmeter, etc., when it is connected, see to it that the negative terminal goes to the negative terminal. Okay, so that is how you should remember the connections which you do it. Now you are going to make the columns, observation columns, as the number of cells used, means you have used one cell, two cell, three cell, four cell, etc. So when you are increasing the number of cells, what is going to happen? The potential difference will increase, and when the potential will difference will increase, what do you think? Yes, it's according to Ohm's law, the current should increase, and we are going to measure and check it, right? So we are going to measure the potential difference, we are going to measure the current. Now children, as we are using these small cells, okay, we are not using the big batteries, we are just using small cells, so the current so produced will be very less, so that it is difficult to measure in the ampere, so I will go for the smaller unit, milliampere. Then I will multiply by 10 raised to minus 3, that means to divide by 1000 to get the answer in ampere. And when I take it, the ratio of V upon I, which should be, potential difference should be in volts and current should be in ampere. So let us have the example. See the way I am writing. If you are using only one cell, the current measure is 100 milliampere. So it is 100 multiplied by 10 raised to minus 3. Okay. The potential difference across the is say 10 volts. Then the resistance will be V upon I. So 10 upon I is 100 multiplied by 10 raised to minus 3. Now children, this 10 raised to minus 3 is upon. So it will go here, it will become plus 10 raised to 3. Correct? Now I do the cancellation, 10 tens are, and out of this 10 and 10 raised to 3, here 100 comes. So answer of this will be 100. Similarly, if I am using 3 cells, current if I am observing is 300, so it will be 300 multiplied by 10 raised to minus 3. The potential difference across that is 30. So if you do the calculation, what you will observe, it will be 30 upon 300 into 10 raised to minus 3. So that I will take it will become 10 raised to 3 here. Right? 30 tens are and 10 again here it will come. The answer will come out to be 100. So children, whatever you will see, your milliampere and ampere, whatever your result will see na, if you measure and go on writing it, you will observe that the ratio of V upon I comes out to be same, and that here is what example I took, it is in 100 there. You may have 10 also experimentally when you do in the lab. So when the school will reopen, we will be doing this experiment actually, and we are going to prove it, the Ohm's law. Okay, so presently I have taken the term. Well, So here the diagram shows one cells one time you connect, then you connect two cells, then you connect three cells, then you connect four cells, etc. Now, after getting the values of V and I and taking the ratios, let us draw the graph of it. For drawing the graph, children, voltage you are going to take on the x-axis and current you are going to take on the y-axis, and according to the values you are going to take it, say 10, 20, 30, whatever was there. So in our case, what we are taken, V was 10, 20, 30, right? Yeah. Okay, so we are going to write down that way. Here you are going to write down the scale, that on y-axis and on x-axis what it will be. And here you are going to take the current 100 into 10 raised to minus 3 ampere. Then 200 into 10 raised to minus 3 ampere. Then 300 into 10 raised to minus 3 ampere. And when you plot it, see, when it was 10, it was giving the answer 100. So here is the point. When it was 30, it was giving the answer 300. So here is the points. After getting the point, from 2.1 and only one line pass, so you will draw the line. So you are going to get the straight line graph passing through the origin. This is how we can prove it experimentally, the Ohm's law. We have seen that as V increases, even I also increases, and is uniform. It is giving me the straight line. You are understanding now uniform. After learning about the uniform motion and all, you are going to get straight line graph, right? Now, children, we have learned about the Ohm's law. So let us have some sums based on it. The resistance of the filament in a light bulb is of the 1000 ohm. If the bulb is fed by a current from a source of potential difference 230 volt, how much current will flow through it? So how much is the resistance given? Resistance given is 1000, right? So R is equal to 1000. Then V is equal to 230 volts. Normally whatever potential difference we get at our house. So let us use, what is the formula? V is equal to IR. Remember, only one formula, V is equal to IR. So depending upon the gas, then you do the derivation. So I will be V upon R. Now substitute the value 230 upon 1000, so it gives our answer as 0.23 ampere. Next, the length of the conducting wire is 50 centimeter and its radius is 0.5 mm. If its resistance is 30, then what is the resistivity of the material? Children, here you are asked about the resistivity of the material, right? That means you are asked, they are asked you rho. I hope you remember rho, the symbol. This is how we used to use, like Devanagari 9. So what they give, the length of the conducting wire is 50 centimeter. Oh, it is in centimeter. So we need to convert it into meter. So 50 centimeter is equal to 50 into 10 raised to minus 2 meter. Then its radius is 0.5 mm. See, it's in millimeter. Oh God. So that also I have to convert into meter. So for that I have to multiply by 10 raised to minus 3. Isn't it? So I have 0.5 into 10 raised to minus 3 meters. Correct? So that will be equal to 5 into 10 raised to minus 4 meter. And how much is the resistance given? Resistance given is 30 ohms. Now the resistivity formula is RA upon L. Huh? So let me first find out what is A. Area will be A will be pi r square. All those wires are having the cross section as a circle, na cross section, because they are cylindrical. So cylinder, if you cut it, a little part of it will go. What part will be observed to you? Circular part. So 22 upon 7, or you can just write pi also, into r square. That means pi into 10 raised to minus 4 the whole square. Right? So calculating that, see directly if you we can write down together also. A is pi r square, right? So instead of this, I would use the pi r square. Now pi value is taken as 3.14 and this is r square. What is capital R? Capital R is 30. This is what it is. And you have a length is given as 50 into 10 raised to minus 2. Correct? So 50 into 10 raised to minus 2 is written. So after substituting it, let us simplify. That will be equal to 30, 3.145. So you have here 33-volt potential difference. Correct? You have resistance as 110 ohms. So let me find out the current flowing through it. So current I got as 0.3 ampere. Correct? Now just 33 upon 110 I did. Got it? So 11 threes are 33 and 3 upon 10, that means 0.3 ampere. So now what is said? The same current is flowing through the appliance having a resistance of 500 ohms. So now this current, that is 0.3 ampere current, is passing through the appliance. So now I have 0.3 ampere and the resistance of that appliance is 500. Correct? So substitute V is equal to IR. So 0.3 into 500, that comes out to be 150 volt. Right? So the required potential difference between the two ends is nothing but 150 volts. Got it? Example number 5. Determine the resistance of the copper wire having a length of 1 kilometer and diameter of 0.5 millimeter. Now we are already given that the resistivity of copper is 1.7 into 10 raised to minus 8 ohm meter. Right? Now the length given is 1 kilometer. So 1 kilometer will be 1000 meter. Correct? So 1000 you write this way, or you can write on 10 raised to 3 also. No problem. This is all equality sign, children, in between. Diameter is 0.5 millimeter, that means 0.5 into 10 raised to minus 3 meters. Convert into meters. So this is both are in meter. So now let us go ahead. So as there is a wire cylindrical shape, so you have the area of cross section as pi r square, right? So A is equal to pi. What is R? R is, they give us diameter, na? So half of that is radius. So D upon 2 the whole square. So 0.5 into 10 raised to minus 3 ka half. Okay, the whole square. So half ka square is 1 upon 4. So I write 4 outside. This is pi and this is, now we are going to find out the square of it. 0. Sorry. So let me solve. So you have pi upon 4 into 5 upon 10. This 0.5 is 5 upon 10. Again multiply by 5 upon 10 and then 10 raised to minus 6. 10 raised to 3 multiply by 2 na, right? So now let us do simplification. So we have here children A ka simplification, solve it. So you have 10 raised to minus 6 here and this 10 also is there. So become 10 raised to minus 8 here. And you have 5 upon 10. You can do the cancellation also if required. But then also I doubt about this. 5 upon 10, 5 twos are, 5 twos are. So you have children 5 upon 4 into 4, that is 16. Right? 5 upon 16 into 10 raised to minus 6. Correct? Now put the value of pi as 3.14 and divide it by 16. Roughly you are going to get the answer as 0.2. Okay. So that is what you are going to get the answer. Multiply by 10 raised to minus 6 was there. So it is here.